You again, Mr. Chairman, and the ranking member as well. I have been in Congress for a number of years, and I must say that I agree with Mr. Posey. Sir, your testimony has been brutally frank. I rarely hear the level of frankness that I've heard with your testimony, so I'm grateful as well that you have been forthright. Now, I do have a couple of concerns. One, with all that you've said, I want to make it clear to all who are hearing your testimony that you do not contend that we should end FEMA. I think I'm hearing you say we should mend it but not end it. Is that a fair assessment?
That's a very fair assessment, Congressman. I think you need a very strong national flood insurance program. The private market does not appear ready to step in. Americans and small businesses need access to flood insurance. 5.3 million Americans are doing it now and need it. I don't know where they get it if we're not here. And so I think we need to strengthen the national flood insurance program.
Thank you. I had the opportunity this weekend in Houston, Texas, just passed, to talk about FEMA and the various programs on a radio station, and we had a caller, appeared to be a young lady. Her indication was that she had paid her flood insurance regularly, wasn't behind it, there was no lapse in the program in terms of her payments, and she indicated that she was very much distraught, perhaps not in these words, because the program did not reward her as she thought it should when she had fulfilled all of her obligations. And I'm laying this as a predicate for this question. Is it true that the penalty for overpaying a victim is more severe than the penalty for underpaying? I'm trying to find some rational reason for the behavior that we are talking about today. Can you comment, please?
Yes, Congressman. It is not the case that the penalty, if you will, for overpaying is more severe than the penalty for underpaying. The penalty is for not paying the correct amount over or under. And so that was not true 4 years ago, but it is true today, and based on some changes that were done after Katrina. As far as what the reason is behind the conduct of engineering firms that alter reports or any of that, I don't have an answer for you. It's really difficult to understand the why. What I would offer to you is this. I think it's imperative that the system that we use to detect that kind of conduct, that system needs to be strengthened, because whatever the why is, until we understand the scope of it, we're not going to be able to fix it.
Well, I rarely try to get an explanation for irrational behavior, but usually when fraud is involved, there is some reward, some place in the system, and I'm trying to find that gravamen, if you would, that reward that's in the system. And are you indicating that at this point you too have not been able to locate the reward that someone would receive?
I have not, and I've brought forensics accountants in to help me. It's why I've asked GAO to come in. I've spoken with the Attorney General office in New York in particular, because I know they are looking at the same question. I do not have an answer for you because I do not understand why anybody would do some of the things that are alleged.
Thank you. Well, Mr. Chairman, with the remainder of my time, I'd just like to focus on Houston, Texas and recent events. We have had a catastrophe. We've had much property damage. Lives have been lost. And it's our job as members of Congress to do all that we can to assist our constituents. But I also want to indicate that in Houston, I saw something that was very heartwarming. I saw a symbiosis develop. The mayor's office was involved, and the mayor herself. The governor immediately acted. The Red Cross, the agency that you are going to move to, and by the way, I salute you if this is what you want to do, but was very much involved. We even had the Mormon Church providing translators for persons who needed some assistance. We had a Chinese community center housing people who were victims of the storm. So I want to just commend those in Houston who've done an outstanding job, but I also want those who are still suffering to know that we plan to do all that we can to be of assistance to them, especially people who are out of their homes now and have no place to go. Some will, but many do not, and it's important that we do all that we can to help and that they not be defrauded at this time of need. Exceedingly important. Mr. Chairman, I thank you so much for the time, and I yield back.
Gentleman's time has expired. With